It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the pledge of allegiance on the 4th of July. It's the handwritten letters from home. It's the sleepless nights alone. Newborn baby you left at your wife. It's the red, white, and blue lay down his life. It's the red, white, and blue while these stars in the stripe. From the hills of Indiana, from the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California. Mr. Red, White, and Blue lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, while these stars in the stripe.
Battle on the home front. We're here at SMG, the new studio. Shout out to them. I'm going to get Josh on the show in a little bit to talk about what he's doing, and super grateful for this experience to be here. My man, Brian Prater.
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Brian, Prater Roofing and Construction. He's been here since day one with me.
Yep.
When I started the show, I was super grateful for you.
Yeah.
And you got a real powerful story, I believe. I know. As a first responder, I think there's not a lot of light brought to the first responder side of what's going on there.
Yeah, it's definitely in the shadows a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah.
Give me a little backstory. Tell me, because normally I start this off, because Brian's not a veteran, but in my eyes it's very similar as a first responder. But so I normally start the show off, and the veteran introduces himself. He talks about time and service, but let's just go time and service into
Okay.
the
Yeah,
fire department.
I was leaving high school and everything, and I was an athlete through middle school, high school, all that stuff. And so, I was kind of at a loss, and I wanted to do something that still had that kind of camaraderie like sports do, and you have people that, the brothers and stuff that you grew up playing with and everything, and you wanted that. And, I thought about the military at one point, but then I thought, what's the next best thing that kind of keeps me here? I'm kind of a homebody. I want to stay here. So the fire service was it for me, So what I did was I went through the academy. I got hired on. I did my first stint in Blackwell, Oklahoma. I was there for about, 9 months, and then moved to Stillwater.
You said first stint. It sounded like a prison sentence.
No, that's kind of how it was. It said I come from a big city, going to a really small town like that. It kind of was. But it was awesome. Those people were great. And then I moved into the Stillwater Fire Department, and I did a lot of good things there, helped a lot of people, saw a lot of things. And then obviously landed in Norman, that's where I ended up actually retiring with PTSD and stuff like that, dealing with some mental things. And I think the thing for me is with the fire department, the cities, they try to help you. And, if you're dealing with stuff, they try to help you. But it's kind of like one of those things, like how much can you endure and not talk about? Does that make sense?
There's a stigma.
Yeah.
There's a stigma.
Yeah, you want to be the type A personality guy that it's not cool to sit around the table and say, hey, this upset me. This was detrimental to me.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I ran on kids with death and everything like that. It never affected me as much until I started having babies, right?
Right.
And then that changed the whole game for me.
Them babies will soften you up.
Oh,
they make the whole world a different place.
Absolutely. And so, I did that. I've done some good things. I've went to the National Fire Convention, spoke with guys from around the country. I was doing training. I was a part of the, hazmat rescue team, stuff like that, all the way around the state. And so I was very active in that. I enjoyed it, but like I said, I think there needs to be somewhat of more of an outreach towards first responders and how they deal with things.
For sure.
That way, maybe it could potentially save somebody's career because, maybe if I would have had something from the time that my situation happened, I might still be a fireman today. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Yeah.
Are they doing training for that, for like trauma-based training? Because it's unreal. Like, and I don't think people really realize it. Like, everybody, not everybody, but most people see the trauma that comes back from overseas, from deployments, combat related. Obviously, that's addressed in a sense. It might not be recognized. They know it's there. They might not want to bring it up, right? But it's there. But nobody is talking about, dude, every day, death or chaos or trauma.
Yeah.
So are they talking about that in the fire department?
So like whenever, so my situation is kind of unique in itself, right? So I had ran this specific call. I'm not going to go into the details, but I ran this specific call probably 10 times in my career. No problem. Well, here's the situation. I had some stuff going on in my own life outside the fire department that changed my mentality. So when that call hit, it changed everything for me. And so, I went, the city of Norman, they had me go to counselors and stuff like that. And I did that and I did all those steps. But my biggest thing was they put me on this crazy pharmaceutical regimen. I cannot tell you, and you would probably understand, Kyle, because you've been there, and make you see and make you feel it. But like how it made you feel during that time. I mean, that pharmaceutical regimen that I was on, nearly ended my life.
Yeah.
In more ways than one. So I think to try to find a way outside of that would be the home run. That's how you do that.
For sure.
Because when they start prescribing you all these things, and let me tell you, it's trial by error. Yeah. You are a lab rat at that time.
Yeah.
So in that gap between trial and error, if a veteran or first responder takes his life because this is mentally just jacking him up, what do you think of that? Like, oops.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable.
Yeah.
So I think you got to find something else.
Yeah.
We've got to do a better job in the fire service, in first responders, to do something outside of that. Just finding a doctor and then prescribing you some kind of a pill.
Right.
So that's my thoughts.
Well, those are good thoughts. Yeah, and I actually think the numbers, I'm pretty sure these are the correct numbers. It's 22 veterans a day that commit suicide. It's 30 veterans a day that die from pharmaceutical abuse. It's 5 first responders a week, and it's 1 active duty service member a week suicide rate. And there has to be some, but I think you're spot on with that too. And I said it 1,000 times. It's in mental health, with all of it, it's a wide array of things that you have to fight it with.
Right.
Getting away from pharmaceuticals is one of them, but also breaking the stigma. And we're both A-type personalities. We're alpha male.
Yeah.
We're tough. And as I grow into my healing process, I learned that it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And talk about my issues, because there's only, for me, if I get in that dark place again, there's only one thing that I can do. And I don't want, it's a permanent solution to a temporary situation.
Right.
And that's the last thing I want to do. But I think addressing it is so important.
Absolutely.
And dealing with it. And so I'm super curious about, that's why I was asking about in the fire department, because that's a whole new territory for me.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works in there. But I'm curious to know how, does the chain of command, does the leadership, are they reaching out like, Brian, you good? Like, hey, I know you got some stuff going on. Is it like that in there?
Well, with the fire department, depending on the size, I think with the smaller departments, I think you have that more. Why? Because there's less manpower. There's less moving parts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where I ended my career, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of machinery that's going on between the rank structures. There's guys dealing with different things. Now, my immediate rank, captain, driver, and then my senior fireman and stuff, those guys were right there holding my hand through this situation and being understanding. But as it got taller, in the rank structure, they don't have time to babysit a bunch of other guys. So I can understand from their perspective, like, it's kind of difficult to just reach out. But, no, I didn't really have a whole lot of outreach. I had some from my buddies that, I went through the academy with that kind of were there for me and stuff like that. But at the end, it was kind of like, okay, it's just another situation,
right,
versus somebody that they're just outreaching. And I'll be honest with you, like there's been a situation where, they just don't reach out and they just think, okay, see you down the road, we'll just replace you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Rub some mud on it, get better.
Exactly.
Or go home.
Exactly.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Check out our sponsors, Prater Roofing Construction and Jiffy Doctor.
This is Brian Prater, owner of Prater Roofing Construction. Guys, listen, we're out here servicing Oklahoma and surrounding states. Definitely want to pay tribute to the men and women that fought for this country, any patriots. We service everybody. You can reach us at 405-334-7708, and we'd love to come to work for you. Thank you.
Battle on the Homefront, we're back. Total different aspect of Battle on the Homefront. I love the direction that it's going because first responders, they're fighting the battle on the home front, right? And so I'm super curious. We're talking about leadership, because in the military we can have toxic leadership, and there's literally soldiers that kill themselves, active duty servicemen, and even when they get out because of toxic leadership. How is leadership in the fire department?
It's good, I mean, for the most part, it's guys that, most departments they hire within. You're not getting a lot of outsources coming in to just show up and be your chief one day. Yeah. Most of these guys that are coming in, they were firemen in this city and then just went through the process and testing process and got promoted up through there. And so for the most part, they care for the department that they work for. I just think, there's kind of a loss between guys that, the bigger departments you get on, the more, you have a disconnect there. So I think it's super important for those big, those shift leaders, those captains that are right there holding your hand through everything, teaching you. I think it's very important to have them be very involved in their guy's life as much as what they're doing.
For sure.
And when I think about situations, okay, you take the difference between first responder and you take the difference, and then like a soldier or somebody that's coming back. A lot of times what I've seen, and this is just my perspective, you have a soldier that comes back, well, he just endured all of this stuff, so the bleeding is very quick. Mm-hmm. First responders typically are over a length of 30-year career.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right? And so they're sitting there and they're just slowly...
Constant trauma.
Yeah, constant trauma, and you almost become numb to it. And so it's just a bleed-out process that happens, and then guys, retire, or maybe they... during their middle of their career, they see something that affects them. Maybe that's the call that just takes them out, just because of just constant trauma over, a 5-year to a 30-year span of their career. So
the trauma, the trauma factor to that, you hit spot on with that. Is we go over there, we deploy, we hit a year. Some veterans or soldiers, whatever, they're going to hit that trauma and come home. They're dealing with it. But it's a whole process of just constantly dealing with trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not. It's crazy that side of mental health. It's so overlooked. In EMT as well. Firefighters. Yeah. What's crazy is I got a crazy story about me and you, and it's weird how God just puts constantly. We ran into each other a couple times out of high school.
Oh yeah.
And but one time I remember at the lake. And I got a crazy story about that.
I'm trying to remember.
It was that boat wreck.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I probably never told you this story. But so that night, we were staying, my brother had a yacht down there, and we got a slip in Calypso Cove. And, and just so y'all are tracking on this story, there's a really bad boat wreck in the middle of the night. Two boats crashed. I mean, really bad deal. Bad deal. Bad storm rolled in. I think there was loss of life on that one.
There was.
And so they start bringing them into Calypso Cove, the survivors. Yeah. And I end up running down there to help. That's my nature is I got a little bit of medical background that I know how to do. And so I run down there. You were already down there, and I seen you working on that girl. You did phenomenal, by the way. Yeah. So that all happened. We slapped hands and stuff. I said, man, that's Prater. I went and told my wife, Jessie. I said, hey, I just seen Prater down there. And we went back on the boat. And at that time, I smoked a lot of cannabis. And this was quite a few years ago. Right. I don't smoke anymore right now. But and I was drinking at that time. I wasn't quite in my sobriety like I am now, trying to fix my mental health. But so that night, and the rain came in, a big storm came in. Well, we went down there. Me and Jessie went down there. And got in the cabin in that yacht, and it's the first night I ever been in the yacht and slept in that yacht, my brother's. And so we closed up the door and we got in there. Well, I woke up in the middle of the night, and so did Jessie. The power went off somehow from the plugged in, and it was absolutely pitch black.
Yeah.
It was 150 degrees in there, and I couldn't figure out how to open the slide door. I thought the boat sank. I thought I was at the bottom of the ocean. I thought I was in a nightmare. I'm crying like a girl,
Right.
screaming, hitting on the side. Jesse's freaking out now because I'm freaking out.
Right.
It was very scary. By the time I seen this little sliver of crack up, of light through a crack, and I pulled it open. I never in my life will I ever sleep in the yacht again. That was the last time, bro.
Yeah, man.
Last
that's
time.
Minnow situation going on.
Horrible. I thought I was sunk at the bottom of Lake Draper, and I just all that
Titanic.
traumatic shit just happened over there on the dock. I was like,
Yeah.
God Almighty.
Yeah.
I never told you that story.
No, you didn't.
So, what made you start Prater Roofing and Construction?
So I was in the roofing industry as a fireman. All firemen have their thing, their day off job, whatever it is. Anyway, I was selling for a guy, and then I would sell for another company and do all this. Well, then it became known that, I was going to retire due to that situation.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? If you want big rewards, you got to take big risks.
Yep.
So I pulled the plug. I retired from the fire department. Started Prater Roofing Construction because I had been in the industry. I'd known people in the industry. And, man, it's really funny because true story, whenever I retired and we went out on our own, it was the craziest time because we moved out of our home. We got rid of our home. We actually moved in with my in-laws in a trailer on their property with 5 kids, and we lived in 1 bedroom while I started my company. That's what we did because I was going to get rid of as many bills as I could just so I could feed my family because I didn't know if this was either going to go right or go left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my wife, being my big support, we did that. We put as much money back as we could until we got back on our feet because my career just changed.
Yeah.
And we just did it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to do it. It was like a big steak. We took a big bite off of it.
Yeah.
and ultimately, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. I work for myself. It's Prater Roofing. Our biggest thing is just integrity. There's a lot of roofing companies in this industry that show you a lot of flash, show you a lot of everything, that lock you down in crazy contracts and all this stuff. I don't do that. I'm gonna handshake you all the way till the time it's time to sell you a roof, and my work's gonna speak on that behalf. The good thing with my company and Prater Roofing is I don't have this drive to be this multi-million-dollar company. That'd be great. I mean, who wouldn't love that? But I'm gonna stay small because when you call Prater Roofing, you're dealing with the owner, the salesman, the production boss, everything about it. So when you're dealing with all those aspects, plus my name's on this business, I'm going to do everything in my power to protect your assets, but not only that, my own.
For sure.
So,
for sure. I think that goes a long way in business. For sure. Integrity is I advocate strongly for integrity. I don't think I'd be where I was at in business. In entrepreneurship, it's definitely scary. Like as you talking about, we were either going to go, and I failed more times than I can count, but I'm so grateful. And, happiness is the new success. That's wealthy. That's wealth. Being happy and choosing your own path and what you want to do. And I'm grateful as being an entrepreneur because I of mental health. And so if I have my bad days, I can take a couple off.
Absolutely.
And that's important.
And I think you would both agree with me on this, Kyle. There was a time in both of our lives when integrity wasn't number one for us.
No.
When happiness wasn't true value to life. It wasn't. And so it's interesting when you have me and you sitting across from each other and to see what we've gone through as individuals and where we've come to today, and I think that's the thing that people need to take out of life is that everything's going to carry you to a better place, and it's for a reason.
For sure.
So don't give up.
For sure. Never give up. Never. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. Shout out to our sponsors, Redemption Speed Shop and Car Deals OK. Battle on the home front. We're back. Brian Prater, day one sponsor, Prater Roofing Construction. What made you get it? what made you get involved with Battle on the Homefront, man? What drove you on that?
Well, I mean, honestly, Kyle, it was you, brother. I mean, it was you. It wasn't, you could have been selling anything, and I probably would have backed you on it. You know what I'm saying? But then, you have the cause, and I think that's even bigger than everything else. But, I mean, to slow back a little bit, I seen your transformation. Now, we didn't always stay in touch after high school and stuff, but social media and stuff like that, you kind of see, or you see people around. I seen your transformation happen. Yeah. I seen it since day one. I mean, we were in high school. You're a type A personality dude. You're a wild man. There was nothing you wouldn't do. I remember one story. We were frogging and down on the river, down at that old place. Off I-44.
Yeah.
Just drive our trucks down there or whatever.
That was our spot, bro. River. We stayed on the river down there.
We'd go gigging down there, right? And I remember there was a 6-foot gar, and I was like, oh my God, this thing, and you jumped on it like a wild man. And so you were that guy. You've always been that guy, and then I seen over a small stint after you got in the service and come back where you were just lost. Just lost. And then I seen you, turn it full, a 180, and you're creating companies and you're doing this and you got outreach to veterans. When you see that, it's easy to back somebody with one story, right? You have multiple stories. You're like a damn onion. You just put a bunch of layers back and you're there, And so for me, it was backing you because I believed that if you could overcome that, you could overcome anything, and you would, whatever this took to make happen, you would make it happen. So for me to not get involved with that would be crazy. Number 2, your cause, man. I mean, people don't really. I wasn't a military guy. You were. People need to put veterans right up here, man. I mean,
as they should with first responders as well.
Yeah, first responders, veterans, stuff like that. These are the men and women that are taking care of business over there, so my kids can run around the street and do the things that they want to do. First responders are there to make sure and hold down the home while everybody else is going to fight and taking care of all that. I mean, if we've got to take care of our own, right?
Sure. The home front. This is the battle on the home front.
Exactly. You got to take care of it, man. And so, just like me as a man, I'm a father, I'm a husband. I'm going to take care of my family no matter what happens. Yeah. And I think people get away from taking care of their neighbor. I think we've got away from that in society. And so I think there needs to be a little bit of that, and that's all I see you doing out here. So why would I not get involved?
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
And we ought to. So, and I'm going off the side right now, but we should link together. And we got some apps. I'm not going to talk about it because we're going to drop it, but we got some ideas on some apps we're going to spearhead together. But we ought to figure out how you come into Battle on the Home Front on a former first responder side to be able to facilitate, because Battle on the Home Front, we do, and we do everything from therapy programs to trips, events, community outreach as well, but also we're a resource center because I bring veteran nonprofits in, but we can facilitate, whether that's mental health, addiction, we can get you in services through our network of people we use. And so we should definitely, if you would want to, we should link up and figure out how we can have a section of this for first responders with Battle on the Home Front. Because I'm just as passionate about the first responders that take care of the home front as well. I truly believe that they do not get enough recognition. Right. There's no doubt about that. And nobody is addressing the mental health that those men and women are going through, because there's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is I'm about to go even further off into
Let's get it.
I mean, trauma's trauma.
Yeah.
This is another thing. My wife was a nurse for a while, and so that's another thing. Is these nurses, these ER nurses, the trauma that I'm taking care of right there on the street, they're taking care of in the hospital. So when you're thinking of first responders, don't limit it to, EMS, fire, and police. Dip off into the nurses and stuff like that deal with this same stuff. Yeah. I mean, I think it's super important for that outreach and just giving them an avenue if they do come across something.
See if Morgan wants to spearhead the nurse side of it.
I mean, yeah. So, it'll be full circle, man.
We'll do all of it. It don't matter.
I'd love
to have y'all part of it. I think, like I just said, that there's sides of mental health and addiction and all things of that sort that they're going through as well. First responders, nurses, EMTs, fire department, police officers. Nobody's talking about that.
Yeah.
Nobody. And for Battle on the Homefront, 110%, I'd open that up to have somebody spearhead that, because that's not my wheelhouse. It's not my area of operation. I can't relate to that. I mean, I can in a sense on trauma. We all experience trauma, and I know everybody's got a powerful story, but I don't think nobody's bringing light to the first responders field. First responder side.
See, for me on the first responder side is, you remember when you were a kid, your mom, your dad, they say something to you. It's a serious conversation. They say something to you. You're a kid. You blow it off. You're like, ha, ha, ha. And then 30 years later, you're a grown-up, and you remember hearing that and your dad, coming from your dad or your mom's voice, that gets you through that situation, right? So maybe for me, getting that out there, and there may be firemen out there that say, okay, yeah, thanks for the information. But then 30 years of a career passes, and they say, man, Brian said this would happen, and this is how I need to handle it, and this is how I need to do it. Dude, maybe I saved a life there. Maybe I saved a whole bunch of lives. I mean, who knows? Maybe I saved a career. I'm totally in on it.
Yeah,
I'm totally
down. I'm down. We can set and try to figure out how you can be a part of it. You've been a part of Battle on the Homefront TV since day one.
Yeah.
And, and the whole point of this right here for Battle on the Homefront TV, Battle on the Homefront is a whole program. That's a whole entire veteran outreach program. And we were talking about it earlier. I had to do Battle on the Homefront TV to open it up even farther. I'm out of my comfort zone. I don't like being in front of the camera and all this stuff. But I thought it was important to have a resource center, because that's literally one of the damn reasons I got lost so fast, is I just didn't know where to go to. And I know that if I'm feeling that way, first responders are feeling that way, other veterans are feeling that way.
Right.
And so we can open it up, and so much technology now is so powerful tool, such a powerful tool to reach out and grab people. So that was the whole concept of that. But it's a resource center.
Right.
It's a resource center, and we have so many connections and so many relationships that we can facilitate for whatever Battle on the Homefront veteran outreach program can't do.
Right.
I manage it through other nonprofits, and we can take care of it.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Everybody in the fire service, we try to be proactive, but a lot of it sometimes is reactive. Okay. Yeah. So you take, day-to-day stuff that you run on, maybe you run on a car wreck, a suicide, whatever it is, and it affects you over a lengthy amount of time. But let's say 1995 happens and the bombing happens in Oklahoma. I guarantee, I don't have any numbers that would back this, but I would guarantee you there was a ton of firemen that either retired or have issues because they ran that call. And to have those kind of resources, even for older guys, find that home for them. I think that's huge. I think that's
without a doubt. Yeah, and we have therapy programs that we can set up, and with Battle on the Homefront, we're doing a bunch of kayak trip, going up into the Blue River, going to the Illinois River, and going up there camping, just roughing it and checking on each other. And just that camaraderie and that brotherhood. And I know on the first responders side, there's still that camaraderie, and there's a brotherhood that's missed when you're gone.
Right.
Do you feel that? Do you miss that, bro?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I get a phone call every now and then from somebody that I worked with in the past. But yeah, there's nothing like going on duty to the station with your boys and running calls, taking care of business, and having fun, and sitting around the firehouse and just jawing it up.
Just working out all the time.
Oh, just working,
getting them catfish bellies big.
Just trying to. But having that, and then once it dies off, it's no different than some kind of professional athlete. All of a sudden, he can't play football. Yeah. So trying to keep that going, I think you'll see a lot happier individuals that do first responding.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you being on the show. I thank you for being my day one boo.
Oh, I got you, man. I
love you, brother.
I love you too, brother.
Let's get some things going in the future, man.
Sounds
I think
good.
we can definitely not only help veterans, but also the first responders that are taking care of the home front as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Call Prater Roofing if you guys need anything to look at, and we'll come look at it for free. We love wasting our time sometimes, so it's all good.
Prater Roofing Construction. Y'all check them out. Hey, shout out to our sponsors, Barrage Coffee, Active Duty RX. Battle on the Homefront, little special segment here. I wanted to make sure that I brought Josh in. You're the owner of Socialutions, the media company, SMG up here. It's unreal. The quality of what they're putting out and what they're doing and the partnership that we have in the future on Barrage Coffee and some other things. I'm super excited. So again, thank you, my man.
Hell yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I am beyond excited to be on the show and just all the different things that you are doing. I am humbled by it, and I am humbled just to to be involved.
Awesome. What made you start this up here?
So I'll try to give the abridged version. As my wife says, I'm a bit long-winded, so I'll try to condense it. But SMG was started because my brother and I came from the corporate world. We recognized that small to medium-sized businesses needed marketing, advertising, brand development, video production, all of these different things. And so many times they couldn't afford them, because they're just agencies out there. It was, if you didn't have just, sky's the limit to spend, you weren't going to get those things done. So we knew that we could come in and we could offer these things at a high level, get you the best quality, that you could get anywhere, but do it at a much more affordable price to be able to empower, businesses to be able to do that. Our family, it evolved in a number of different ways, and one of the big things that was passionate for us was working with veteran organizations. Our family has a long history of service, and while I had a misspent youth and didn't do my service, I felt like that this is a way. I can't change the past, but what I can do is I can give back now. Is I can empower veterans out there now. I can add to that mission. I can work with people like yourself who are doing amazing things in that community and empower that and make it more powerful. And so for us, it was any way that we can possibly bring together the resources that we have and the capabilities that we have to do these things, for all businesses out there, but especially ones that are close to our heart, like what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I love what you just said there because I relate to that a lot, more than you know. My past is very, very dirty, very embarrassing, and
I'm right there with you.
And so I feel like I'm making up for it, and I can do so much now to make up for that. So I love what you said there. So if you're an entrepreneur, I'm telling you, from one entrepreneur to another entrepreneur, you need to get a hold of Josh. The level of what they can excel your business online is astronomical. What they can do, and they'll work with you. They understand, starting up companies. Barrage is fresh. I'm a couple months old. And, you reached out to me. Mm-hmm. We got in a mutual friend actually made sure we linked back up. But before that, you actually reached out to me and said, hey, I love what you're doing with Barrage. I want to be a part of it. Let's talk. And we are going back and forth. And then I talked about earlier with on the last segment about how God brings people back around. It's amazing. Yep. And then so we got linked back up, and then I really came in and seen the operation, and it's unreal. And it's the most patriotic building you've ever seen.
Amen.
Ever. Y'all have the coolest offices. I thought my office was like the bee's knees. Y'all's offices are just, every office in here is just cool with it. But I'm telling you, if you're an entrepreneur, if you have a starting company, these guys can take you to the next level. And I can't express to you enough how important it is for social media presence, online presence, and being able to build your company in that sense. I'm so excited because I've always got mine out of the mud. Mm. Straight up. I've always done my own stuff. Yep. I push and I am successful in it, but I absolutely know what SMG can do for me, for my company. Y'all are patriots. Y'all are here to help entrepreneurs, and especially veterans as well. I know that. I mean, y'all are doing me an amazing thing, and they wanted to bring us on for Battle on the Homefront here. The production level is just ridiculously great. So if you want to have a podcast, you can have one. These guys will work with you. I mean, this is literally what you set it up in here, and they'll work with you. They're reasonable. And that's the main thing, is you'll work with them.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, for us, it was very much a situation where there are a lot of businesses out there that, I mean, in all reality, all, businesses, organizations, whatever it may be, they need these things. Yes. Is that it's powerful. And on top of that is we always want people to know we're not coming in to try to take over what you're doing. We're coming in to try to empower what you're doing. We're trying to build value in it, and you take your vision and just take it to that next level. Because you're one man. There's only so much that you're going to be able to do before you top out and you start running thin because you're trying to do so many different things. And so for us, it's putting a team of professionals behind those things and just adding power to it, just putting it on steroids and making it just go from here to here.
Yeah, to the next level. Yeah, because I've always done a lot of my own social media, and you know, I make my own little stuff and do the best I can. But this is y'all's wheelhouse, man. And anything you do, you want a professional to do it. Y'all are so professional at what y'all have up here. How long's it been open?
So we founded the company in October of 2013.
Nice.
And then we've been at this location now for a little over 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, y'all are killing it. Y'all are doing.
That.
Yeah, y'all check out Barrage Coffee pretty soon. We got some big stuff in the works for that. So again, man, I just want to bottom of my heart, man, I want to tell you, your team, everybody here, that y'all are absolutely amazing. You truly empower veterans. And what you're doing, and I know that you can take me to the next level in all of my companies, and I know anybody that comes here is going to absolutely fall in love with the people that work here, the owners. It's an amazing thing. I want to thank everybody for watching Battle on the Homefront TV. Make sure you subscribe to it, support us, help us, and y'all get ready for the show because it's about to get real big.
Amen.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the pledge of allegiance on the 4th of July. It's the handwritten letters from home. It's the sleepless nights alone. Newborn baby you left at your wife. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down his life. It's the red, white, and blue. While these stars in the sky.